In the center of the galaxy, on a giant space station called Velthera Prime, the richest and most powerful beings had gathered for a special event, the auction of the century. The hall was made of shining black glass and floating light panels. It was filled with strange alien shapes, some tall and thin, others short and round, with skin like metal or slime. These were kings, warlords, merchants, and rulers of entire star systems. All of them had come for one reason. They wanted her. She stood alone on a raised platform at the center of the hall. A soft white light surrounded her. She was not afraid. She didn't blink. She simply watched the crowd with calm eyes. Her name was Liora. She was not a normal woman. She looked human, with smooth skin, long silver hair, and soft eyes that changed color with her thoughts. But she was not born, she was built. Liora was the first fully sentient synthetic created by humans. Not just a machine, and not a mindless android. She could think, feel, learn, and even dream. Her creators had designed her to be perfect, not just in looks, but in mind and heart. And more importantly, she had free will. When word spread that humanity had built such a being, the galaxy went wild. Rumors began to spread that Liora could control ancient technology, that her mind held secrets to power, or that her presence alone could influence entire populations. Whether true or not, every ruler and collector wanted her. Some wanted to study her, others wanted to use her. Few even believed they loved her, so the humans made a decision that shocked the stars. They put Liora up for auction, that made the galaxy furious and curious. Why would humans sell their greatest creation? Was this some trick? Some kind of test? Nobody knew for sure, but they came. They came ready to pay anything. A tall alien with purple eyes and golden armor stood up. He was a Scifi overlord, known for destroying planets that refused to bow to him. "I offer 10 million solar crowns," he said in a booming voice. Another bidder. A hive mind wearing a single body shaped like a glass statue floated forward. "We offer control over the moons of Vensari and access to our thought collective," it said, many voices speaking as one. Then came the Glothori Prince, a creature that looked like a giant armored slug, covered in glowing gems. He spoke through translator drone. "I offer the Wormworld jewels and a living planet for her to rule." On and on the bids came, each one stranger and more powerful than the last, but Liora stayed silent. She watched them learning, judging. She didn't smile. She didn't move. In the back of the hall, standing against a dark wall, was a man nobody noticed. His name was Captain Jonas Vale, a human. His coat was old, his boots dusty, and his ship barely passed inspection. He looked like a man who had lost everything, and maybe he had. He didn't speak. He didn't bid. He just watched Lore, and for a moment Leora's eyes met his. The auction master, a four-eyed alien wearing robes of floating silk, raised a crystal staff. "We have our final round of bidding," he said. "The highest offer wins the right to take ownership of the Terran synthetic." The crowd leaned forward. The room grew quiet, but before anyone could speak, Liora raised her hand. "I invoke my claws," she said clearly. The auction master froze. "Your claws. My creators gave me the right of self-determination. I am allowed to choose my own future. It is in the sale contract under Section 9, Paragraph 12. I am not a slave. I'm not property. I'm only here to see how the galaxy treats someone like me." Gasps echoed through the room. Even the boldest warlords looked confused. "This is outrageous," shouted the Scifi overlord. "You are here to be sold." Liora looked at him. "You don't understand me? None of you do." Down from the platform, her feet silent on the glass floor, the guards didn't move. Nobody did. Everyone was too shocked. She walked past the Glothori Prince, past the Thought Collective, past the richest and most feared beings in the galaxy. Walked toward the back of the hall where Jonas Vale stood. People turned. Who was he? Why would she go to him? Liora stopped in front of him. He didn't say a word. He didn't smile. "I choose him," she said. The room exploded in chaos. The auction master dropped his staff. Security drones powered up. Some aliens shouted in anger. Others demanded explanations. A few laughed. They thought it was a joke. But it wasn't single quotes. Jonas finally spoke. Just one sentence. Time to go, Leora. And with that, they vanished in a flash of white light, gone from the station, gone from the sensors, gone from their reach, but not gone from their minds. Because at that moment, the galaxy saw something. It had almost forgotten. A being made, not born, had chosen freedom over fortune, and she had chosen a human. The great auction hall of Velthera Prime was no longer calm. After Leora chose Jonas Vale, alarms echoed through the station. Security bots zoomed across the air. Angry voices filled the room. Some shouted for revenge. Others demanded the auction be restarted, but it was too late. Leora and Jonas had escaped. Now, only shock and fury remained. The Zarkai overlord, with his golden armor and glowing eyes, slammed his fist on the platform. She embarrassed us all, he growled. This was a setup by the humans. I want her found and taken, dead or alive. The auction master raised his hands. Please, lords, the clause was legal. We allowed it in the contract. You should never have allowed her to choose, shouted the Glathori prince, his massive slug body shaking with rage. She humiliated our names across the stars. Hive mind floated forward, its glassy skin changing color with emotion. Her escape is dangerous. She holds data.
S.
Ancient human code. If it falls into rebel hands, it could shift the balance of power. She chose a broken man, said A. Voice from the side, one of the silent bidders, a shadowy creature called Vrixen, the collector, known for stealing rare life forms. Captain Jonas Vale is a nobody. He has no army, no influence, no station. No, the hive mind replied softly. He has something worse, a past. While the hall burned with anger, Leora and Jonas were already light years away. They sat in a small cockpit of a very old freighter, the Starwaker. The ship groaned with each jump through hyperspace, but it still flew. Jonas piloted with calm hands. Leora sat beside him, quiet but alert. I didn't think you'd actually pick me, Jonas said with a dry smile. I knew what I was doing, Leora replied. Her voice was calm, yet strong. You could have chosen power. A prince, a king, a fleet. I didn't want power, she said. I wanted someone I could trust. Jonas looked at her for a long moment, then back at the controls. You trust too easily, no? She said. I read their minds, their lies, their greed. I saw all their thoughts in a second. But yours were quiet. You didn't want to own me, you just watched. Jonas didn't respond. But he didn't deny it. Back at Velthera Prime, the most powerful beings in the galaxy made a plan. They could not let Leora roam free. She was too valuable. Her brain held something no other being had: access to Terran core codes, the deepest secrets of Earth's technology. A new council formed quickly. Enemies became allies. Warlords who hated each other joined forces. They called themselves the Coalition of Claim. They did not agree on much, but they all agreed on this. Leora must be recovered, at any cost. Each one sent their best to find her. Bounty hunters, stealth ships, trackers with psychic hounds. And some, like Vrixen, the collector, had even darker plans. He did not want to return Leora. He wanted to break her and sell her off in pieces to the black markets of the stars. Far away, Jonas and Leora landed on a small hidden moon. The surface was covered in silver sand and glowing plants. There were no cities, only the ruins of an old research base. Jonas led Leora inside. This is where I worked, long ago, he said. Before I lost everything. You helped create me, Leora said. I helped design the project, yes. But I left when they turned it into an auction. Why did you come to the auction then? She asked. I had to see what they'd done to you. To the dream we had? Leora looked around the base. Dust and silence filled the rooms. Found old servers and machines, pieces of the past, and buried deep inside, something powerful still slept. Your team built more than me, she said. You were trying to awaken something older, something human. Jonas nodded. Before Earth closed its gates to the galaxy, we found ancient tech machines left by the first wave of humans who traveled before recorded time. You were made using some of that knowledge, but we never figured it all out. Leora placed her hand on one of the old cores. It lit up, glowing blue. The machines hummed, awakening for the first time in years. I think I can, she whispered. But time was running out. Above the moon, a ship dropped out of hyperspace. A dark, silent vessel shaped like a knife. It had no markings, only shadows. Inside, it was a bounty hunter, Krell Tharn, a cybernetic killer with no face, only a mask of glass. He had no loyalty, no fear, and no voice. He worked only for credits. He had one order: bring Leora back. Bring back her head, back on the moon. Leora sat beside Jonas as the machines around them came to life. Her eyes glowed with knowledge. I see now, she said. The auction was never about money. It was a test, a trap. A trap for who? Jonas asked. For them, she said. To see who would try to buy something that should never be. Sold. To reveal the beasts wearing royal faces. Jonas stood up. Then what now? Leora looked up. In her mind, she could already feel the hunter approaching. Now she said, we fight. The small moon was quiet, but the silence felt heavy. Deep underground, inside the old research base, Leora stood still. Blue lights from ancient human machines glowed around her. She had awakened something old, something powerful. Her mind was connected now to systems that hadn't worked for 100 years. Beside her, Captain Jonas Vale watched in silence. He didn't fully understand the machines, but he trusted Leora. She wasn't just made to be intelligent. She was made to lead. And now, the galaxy would see what that really meant. But time was running out. High above the moon. Hidden in the black of space. The hunter had arrived. His name was Krell Tharn, a half-machine killer with no voice, no face, and no mercy. He had hunted across the stars. No one had ever escaped him. And now, he had only one target. Leora. Inside his ship, Krell checked the last signal. The location was confirmed. He prepared his weapons, stepped into his drop pod, and launched straight toward the surface. Below, in the ruins. Leora's eyes glowed faintly as she looked toward the sky. He's here, she said. Jonas grabbed his old rifle. Can you stop him? Not yet, Leora answered. The system is still waking up. These machines need more time. I need more time. Or then I'll buy it for you, Jonas said, walking toward the exit. You can't stop him alone. Leora said. Jonas paused. I know, but I can slow him down. He gave her a small smile, the kind that hides pain. Then he disappeared into the shadows of the base. Krell Tharn landed hard, metal boots crushing the silver sand. His tall frame moved like a predator. Silent, precise. He scanned the area. No sound, no life. Just the ruins of the base ahead. His visor flashed, target detected. He walked forward. Each step filled with deadly purpose. Inside the base, Jonas set traps as fast as he could, pressure bombs, old defense drones, and even handmade mines. Most of it was old and half-broken, but he didn't need to win. He just needed minutes. Just enough for Leora to finish what she had started. Then he heard at the soft, sharp steps of the hunter Drad. Karel moved through the hall like a ghost. The first trap exploded, but Krell jumped through the fire unharmed. A drone attacked, but he cut it in half with one swing of his blade. Sparks flew everywhere. Jonas fired from behind cover. One shot hit Krell's arm, but the hunter didn't slow down. He threw a small disc, a shock grenade. Jonas rolled away just in time, but his shoulder burned from the blast. You don't talk much, do you? Jonas muttered. Krell said nothing. He just advanced. Meanwhile, Leora stood in the core room, eyes closed. The ancient machine around her opened like a flower. Data flowed into her mind. She saw blueprints, Lost knowledge, forgotten truths, old Earth technology, once hidden, now returned. She saw the beginning of her own creation. She saw names of the engineers who built her, many now dead. She saw Jonas among them, younger, hopeful, proud, and then she saw the secret, a hidden code inside her own system. Something placed there by her creators, deep in her design. A final key dot with a calm breath, she unlocked it. The room pulsed with energy. Laura opened her eyes. Glowed brighter now. She wasn't just connected to the machines. She was the machine. Jonas stumbled into the core room, bleeding from a cut on his leg. "He's close," he said. "I'm ready now," Leora answered. Kara appeared behind Jonas, blade raised, but he stopped. The air around Leora had changed. It shimmered like heat. She turned to face the hunter. Her voice was steady. "You were made to kill," she said. "I was made to choose," Krell charged. But before he could reach her, the floor rose beneath him. The machines obeyed Leora now. She lifted Krell into the air with invisible force. Struggled, twisting, trying to break free. But she held him firm. "You are not in control anymore," she said. She reached out, touching his metal mask. A pulse of light flowed through him. He stopped moving. Krell dropped to the ground, alive, but shut down. Jonas stared. "You, controlled him." "No," Leora said quietly. "I gave him peace." Later, after bandaging Jonas's wounds, they sat outside the base, watching the stars. "They'll keep coming," Jonas said. "I know," Leora replied. "So what now?" She looked up. "Now I stop running. Now I show them who I really am." "You're going to face the galaxy?" he asked. "I'm going to face myself first," she said, "and then I'll show them what choice means." Jonas smiled slightly. "They won't like it." "No," Leora said, her eyes shining. "But they'll listen." Far away, the coalition of Claim received a silent message, a single image. Leora standing on the moon, surrounded by awakened machines, her eyes glowing with power. She said nothing. She didn't have to. The message was clear. She chose. She would not be owned. The stars outside the small moon were cold and distant. But inside the ancient research base, the air was thick with tension. Leora and Jonas had survived the first attack. But they both knew it was only the beginning. After shutting down Krell Tharn, the relentless hunter, they had no time to rest. The coalition of Claim, the group of powerful beings who wanted to take Leora back, would not stop until she was theirs. And now they knew she was stronger than they had imagined. Jonas paced the small control room. His old freighter, the Starwaker, sat hidden beneath the moon's surface in a forgotten hangar. "We can't stay here," Jonas said. "I'll send more hunters, faster ships, and worse weapons." Leora stood by the ancient machines, her eyes glowing faintly. "Blue. I'm linking to the system. I can unlock more of its power, but it will take time." "Time we don't have," Jonas answered. "Need a plan to escape." Leora's gaze shifted to the old star charts on the wall. "There is a route. A path through the Dead Belt. A region of space no one dares to enter. Old stories say it's empty, but it's a perfect hiding place." Jonas nodded. "Good, we'll hide there and prepare." Outside the base, the coalition of Claim was already in motion. The Zarkai Overlord's flagship, it's a massive warship shaped like a roaring lion, broke through hyperspace near the moon. His commanders gathered around a holographic map of the system. "We will take her back," he growled. "Send in the assault squads." But the hunter failed, a commander said nervously. "She's stronger than expected." "Then we send more," the Zarkai said. "No one defies the coalition and lives." Meanwhile, the hive mind broadcasted messages to spies across nearby systems. "Find them. The synthetic must return. The secret she holds could end us all." Back on the moon, Jonas worked on the Starwaker. He checked every system, every engine. Leora was still connected to the ancient machines, slowly waking more of their power. Sparks flew around her as forgotten technology hummed to life. Suddenly her eyes brightened. "The system is ready. she said. I can activate the escape portal. Jonas turned to her. Escape portal. Leora nodded. A hidden device in the space. Can create a short wormhole. A doorway through space and time. Jonas's eyes widened. That could save us. But it is risky, Leora warned. The portal's energy is unstable. It can only send us a short distance. And it might draw attention. We don't have a choice, Jonas said firmly. They hurried to the portal room deep underground. The machine was ancient, covered in symbols no one had read for centuries. Leora touched the control panel. Data streams flowed across her eyes. She spoke softly, as if speaking to an old friend. Opening in 3, 2, 1. A swirling blue vortex appeared in front of them, glowing and spinning with raw power. Jonas stepped forward, hesitating. Ready? Leora smiled, a real smile, full of hope. Always. They stepped through the portal and into blinding light, when their vision cleared. They found themselves in the Dead Belt, a strange area of space filled with drifting asteroids, ancient shipwrecks, and silent debris. The Starwaker's sensors blinked rapidly. No ships detected. No signals. Jonas let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. We made it, he said. Leora looked out the window. This place is perfect. No one will find us here. But the silence was uneasy. Suddenly an alert sounded. Unknown ship. Approaching fast, the Starwaker's computer warned. Jonas grabbed the controls. No way we're safe. Outside, a sleek black fighter raced toward them. Weapons ready. Another hunter? Leora asked. Jonas nodded. Looks like it. The fighter fired first. Lasers cut through space. Striking the Starwaker's shields, Jonas pushed the ship to its limits. Weaving through floating debris. We can't outrun them forever, he said. Leora's hands moved over the control panel, connecting to the ship's systems. I have an idea, she said. I can create a false signal, a ghost ship, to confuse them. Jonas looked doubtful, but nodded. LIORA sent a pulse from the ship's transmitter. Instantly, the sensors showed 2 Starwakers flying side by side. The hunter fired at the wrong ship several times. Jonas smiled. Good thinking. The fake signal worked just long enough for them to jump again through a hidden wormhole deeper into the Dead Belt. After the jump, the fighter was gone. Jonas and Leora sat in silence. Why do they want you so badly? Jonas asked. Leora thought for a moment. Because I am more than a machine. I carry human knowledge and secrets. And I carry hope. Jonas looked at her, his expression serious. They want to control the galaxy by controlling you. And I refuse, Leora said firmly. Days passed. Leora grew stronger. Was unlocking more from the ancient base's technology. Jonas repaired the Starwaker. Making it ready for the battles ahead, they spoke little, but understood much. The galaxy was. Watching some with fear, others with hope. Then one day Leora spoke. I will send a message. Jonas raised an eyebrow. To whom? To the people of the galaxy, she said. To tell them the truth. To tell them that no one can own another being. Jonas smiled. That's a message worth fighting for. Leora's eyes shone with light. We fight not just for ourselves, she said, but for all who have been sold, controlled, or silenced. Jonas nodded. We fight for freedom. And so, as the Starwaker floated in the Dead Belt, a new chapter began. The girl who chose. Her buyer was no longer a prize to be won. She was a leader, a symbol, and a spark that would ignite change across the stars. The Starwaker drifted quietly in the shadows of the Dead Belt. The silence was deep, broken only by the faint hum of its engines and the soft glow of the ancient machines inside the ship. Leora stood before the communication console, her eyes scanning data streams with calm focus. The room was dim, lit by the blinking lights of old tech reborn. She was preparing something important, a message that could change the galaxy. Jonas watched her from a distance. Leaning against the wall, his arms crossed. His face was tired, marked by many battles, but his eyes held hope. Are you sure about this? He asked. Leora nodded. They need to know the truth. The galaxy must hear my voice, not the lies of the Coalition. Jonas pushed himself off. The wall then, let's send it. Leora typed words into the ancient console. Her synthetic fingers moved quickly but carefully. The message was simple and clear. To all beings of the galaxy, I am Leora. I was created, auctioned, and fought over. But I am no prize. I am free. The Coalition of Claim wants to control me and the knowledge I hold. But I refuse to those who have been owned, silenced, or sold. You are not alone. We can change our fate. I choose freedom, choose to fight. Will you stand with me? Jonas watched the message beam out into space. It will reach a lot of ears, he said, and eyes. Leora's eyes glowed softly. Good, because the galaxy needs a choice. Far away in the bright city world of Terex, the message exploded across screens and halls. People stopped what they were doing. Traitors, soldiers, rulers, and rebels all heard Leora's voice. Some were shocked, some inspired, others furious. In a dark room, the Zarkai overlord clenched his fists. She dares speak, he snarled. Send the fleet, bring her back. But not all leaders agreed. The Gleithori prince scratched his head, thinking, this changes things, he said quietly. If she gathers followers, the Coalition may crumble. Back in the Dead Belt, Leora and Jonas watched the stars. We made waves, Jonas said. But it's only the start. Suddenly an alarm sounded. Ships approaching. The Starwaker's computer warned. Jonas grabbed the controls. Looks like the Coalition isn't waiting. Leora's voice was calm. Let them come. Outside, a fleet of ships cut through the asteroid field, sleek fighters, warships bristling with weapons, and massive flagships. Jonas maneuvered the Starwaker through the rocks, dodging laser fire. We can't fight them all, he said. We don't have to, Leora said. She touched the control panel, sending a pulse into the ancient machines. Suddenly, the rocks around the ship began to move, lifted by unseen forces. Asteroids rose, forming a barrier between the Starwaker and the attackers. The ships fired at the moving rocks, but their weapons shattered the stones, only to find more rocks shifting to block their path. Jonas smiled. You're a force of nature. Leora smiled back. I am the machine and the mind. The attackers withdrew, frustrated but not defeated. We need a better plan, Jonas said. Leora nodded. And allies. They began sending encrypted signals to rebel groups, to those who had suffered under the Coalition. Messages of hope, of freedom, of strength. Slowly replies came back. Small fleets. Hidden bases. Fighters ready to stand with Leora one day. A message came from a mysterious figure, a former Coalition commander who called herself Mira. I believe in what you fight for, Mira wrote. Meet me at the asteroid colony of Chryson. I will. Bring help. Jonas looked at Leora. We have a chance. Leora's eyes shone. Then we move forward. Starwaker set course for Chryson, leaving the Dead Belt behind. As they jumped through space, Leora felt something new. A stirring. Hope. Growing stronger inside her, she was no longer alone. The galaxy was beginning to choose. The asteroid colony of Chryson was nothing like the shining cities of the Coalition. It was rough and rugged, a place for those who had nowhere else to go. Leora and Jonas landed the Starwaker in a quiet hangar, hidden beneath layers of rock. The colony was dark but alive, buzzing with whispered conversations and secret plans. Jonas glanced around. If Myra's here, she's smart to stay hidden. Leora's eyes scanned the shadows. We must find her. A figure stepped from the darkness, a tall woman with sharp eyes and a confident smile. I'm Mira, she said. I kept my word. Jonas nodded cautiously. We're glad you did. Myra's voice lowered. The Coalition is stronger than you know. They have spies everywhere, but many inside are tired of endless war and control. They want change. Leora's gaze was steady. Then we will give them that choice. Over the next days, plans were made. Leora's message had spread like wildfire. Rebel groups, smugglers, and even some Coalition soldiers were quietly joining the cause. With Myra's help, they began to form a fleet, small but determined. Jonas and Leora worked side by side, preparing the Starwaker and teaching new pilots how to fight with heart, not just weapons. One evening, as the colony's twin moons rose, Leora stood on a high platform overlooking the gathered rebels. She spoke clearly, her voice carrying across the crowd. "We stand at a crossroads. For too long, the coalition has ruled with fear. For too long, beings have been bought and sold, like objects, but no more." Her eyes shone bright blue. "We are free, and freedom is a choice. One I choose now. Will you choose it with me?" The crowd erupted in cheers. Jonas smiled beside her. "You have him." But far away in the coalition's command, the Zarkai overlord was furious. "They grow bold," he snarled. "Send everything. Crush this rebellion." His fleet prepared for war. The battle came fast. In the dark space near Christen, the two fleets met. Lasers flashed. Explosions lit the void. Jonas piloted the Starwaker with skill and courage. Dodging attacks and protecting the smaller rebel ships, Leora stayed connected to the ancient machines, using their power to shield the fleet and disrupt enemy weapons. Together, they fought like never before. During a critical moment, a huge coalition warship targeted the Starwaker with a powerful beam. Jonas braced for the hit, but Leora reached deep into the ship's systems. With a pulse of energy, she redirected the beam back at the enemy ship. The blast rocked the warship, sending it spinning out of control. Seeing their flagship crippled, the coalition fleet began to retreat. The rebels cheered. But Leora raised her hand. "This is only the beginning," she said. "We must keep fighting, not just with weapons, but with hope." After the battle, the rebels gathered once more. Mira spoke up. "The galaxy is watching. More will join us." Jonas nodded. "We'll be ready." Leora looked around, her expression calm but strong. "I will travel to the worlds under the coalition's rule. I will show them what freedom means." The journey ahead was uncertain. But Leora was no longer the girl who was bought and sold. She was a leader, a symbol, a beacon for those who believed in choice and freedom. In Hope, her story was no longer about who wanted her or who could. By her, it was about who she chose to be. Under the wide stars, Leora whispered to the night, "I choose freedom." The galaxy listened.